Has sex before marriage, and I want you to be honest with me.
Hmm.
Has sex before marriage made relationships better or quietly ruined them?
I don't think it's the sex before marriage. I think it's the communication or lack thereof, right? What is the intention? What are we doing? Are you being honest about why we're here? If we're supposed to have sex and it's just supposed to be sex, do we both know that?
Mm.
If we're just seeing what we like and if we're going to be a fit, do I know that? Do you know that? What has been the conversation, right? Because you got these situationships and people get breadcrumbed and they get strung along because people see potential instead of seeing the person what they're doing at face value. So have the conversation. I think it's like going to buy a car. If you're gonna go buy a car, you're not gonna get in that car cold off the lot, take it home. You're gonna test drive that thing, right? Now don't get me wrong. My spiritual piece is you wait till marriage, and that was my goal. Um, and then you live a little bit more, you see what else is out there, life continues to go on. But I think it's about the communication piece. Do I know what the intention is? Did I state what the intention is? Are we on the same page about what we're doing here? I think that's what ruins relationships.
I happen to think it's the sex. If women are giving sex to men without any commitment, why should they commit if they? Because truly, that's all a woman can bring to a man that he can't do for himself or bring to himself. So if you give it up and I don't have to commit to you, why should I commit to you after?
Well, it's not just sex. When you're with somebody, you bring sex, you bring companionship, you bring, depending on that woman, right? Home cooked meals, somebody to rub your back when you get off of work. It's more than just sex. And other way around, what if a woman says, you know what, you gave it up before I got with you. Now I want to be with you. The
But
body's a temple, whether it's man or woman. So I just think at the end of the day, what happens and shit gets messy is when people don't communicate what their real intentions are.
I, in my experience and from the people that I know, they do communicate a lot of times. But the problem becomes, well, why should I give you the title if you already given me everything that I need?
Then you go deeper, right? Was that conversation in the beginning? Did I know that you were a virgin or I was a virgin and I was staying that way until we had a relationship?
You,
So sometimes that's not the case. Like my first person I was with first, we were in a relationship first before we had sex.
mm,
But I said off the rip, I'm a virgin and I'm staying that way. This is what I want to do.
mm.
And he was like, all right, cool, bet. And then we got to a relationship. Time went on and he was my first. So, I mean, I stated what the intention was and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to hold myself. And that's how it ended up working out.
I think people are having a lot of sex these days,
I agree. It's
and
everywhere.
but
Sex
then
sells.
it does. But then why is not producing more marriages?
I think society, I think people see marriages and they see the glitz and the glamour and then they see the ugly. And I think relationships are also not getting as much respect either because it takes work. You're not going to fall up with somebody and just have rainbows, unicorns, and honey forever. You're going to go through some shit. So people are lazy now. People don't want to communicate. They don't want to work. They don't want to fight. And don't get me wrong. I think when you're with somebody, it shouldn't be hard to be together,
Mm.
but you are going to have hard times where it's going to require you to do the work together to get through it. So I think people just we're like in a microwave society right now. People want to just do it quick and keep it moving.
Yeah, why is that the standard now, especially with women? Like they're quick to move on. Like this, I cut you off culture. I can cut you off anytime culture. Why would females feel like they can just open a leg to a man and then when they don't like the fact that the man won't buy them a pocketbook or they might have when it's stepped out once or twice, they just feel like, yo, I'm gonna move on and go to the next man. Why is that the mentality
When you
today?
say stepped out, you mean cheat on?
Yeah, just cheat on you.
So you can't compare being cheated on to not buying a pocketbook. Them two different things. I think when we should never be giving our bodies to somebody to buy to get something in return, right? That's it's kind of prostitution. If I'm saying, hey, I need you to buy me this, I mean, and people do it. Some men want to be with somebody who they want to take care of and buy all the things, and that's great. But if we're together in a relationship and you step outside the relationship, in my mind, you didn't care about me to stay in it. So now I'm done with you, right? Rather than being crazy and chaotic and slashing your tires, me at this age, I'm going to remove myself. That's going to do more harm than me coming at you crazy and wanting to mess with your stuff. You're going to miss my presence. So I think that for me, that's the thing is like, all right, you want to cheat? Cool. Miss me.
When I said buy a pocketbook, I've seen a few cases where females, for instance, I think Andrew Tate was one of them. He told a female no. She wanted a pocketbook, a few other things. He said no. And she got upset, and the government was able to use her to file a sex trafficking case against him. Just simple no. I seen another kid the other day, rapper, told a female no. He flew her out. They did what they did. She wanted some money, and then she got on the internet and just started talking crazy about him. So that's why I kind of mentioned. I don't think I was comparing the two.
Okay.
But let me ask you this, because most people think they're ready for marriage, and I think them vows, they mean a lot, and it goes to this cutoff culture, right? When you say for better or for worse, till death do us part, do you think people really understand that, especially when it comes to marriage? Because that worse is just blanketed with that word worse. But when we get into the intricacies, like your husband stepping out or you stepping out on your husband, if you say you're going to stick around for worse, isn't cheating a part of the worse?
I think yes, and part of those vows is also to keep only to yourself and your partner. So
That is true.
when you get married, that's set first before the last part. So sometimes I think what happens is people break that. So because you already broke that vow before we got to this one, then I'm gonna get to this one. We call it a day.
But I think it's a package though. I don't think you can process it that way, because yes, you did say you're gonna be faithful, right? However, you did say that no matter what that worse is, whether it's sickness, financial issues, or infidelity, because we can't. How do we define worse? Let me ask you that.
I think it is blanketed, but if you look at the vows in the order in which they're said, the one about forsaking anybody else before your husband or your wife, that's said first. So I think what happens is people realize that, and if you already forsaken your partner, then you've already chopped off the vows before we got to the end of them. That's what I think people do. That's what I think the thought process is. But yes, you're right. That worst part, it doesn't, they say sickness and health, better, worse, right? That worse supposed to blanket all the
Issues
of the barriers that can happen. Both people have to be prepared to do the work, because when you lose trust in a person, it's hard to get it back. And it's not impossible. I think it takes longer to get that trust back than to follow in the first place.
I agree. I asked that question because I personally don't believe people understand those vows. They never really even think about it, because sickness does come. Sometimes people do get besides themselves and do things they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
People get fired from their jobs and lose money. All kinds of things pop up in marriage, and you gotta realize that you told God in them vows that you're gonna stick around.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not one that's gonna stay around if you cheat on me. I'm just keeping
I'm
it.
not either.
My wife told me the same thing. She said, "You cheat on me, I'm out of here."
It's a wrap.
Right? So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm perfect. I just wanted to ask that just for educational purposes, because people don't know what they're saying.